Welcome to Parenting in Presence. Today with us we have Urvi, founder of Golden Butterfly. Golden Butterfly is a platform where Urvi shares her stories, songs, and a lot of worksheets to help children understand their inner self. Thank you so much for joining us in the show, Urvi. Can you please share with us what was the inspiration for you to create Golden Butterfly and how did you land in this journey of education?
So it came about very spontaneously, the creation of Golden Butterfly. But before I go on to that, I think I'll have to tell you a little bit about how I came into education. So I graduated with a Master of Arts in Development Studies from IIT Madras. And I went into the development sector because I wanted to change the world. But I was quite disappointed. I was disappointed with my education. I was disappointed with higher education in India. I was disappointed with the corporate setup. I felt that we were trying to change something, but something was fundamentally amiss. We are going outside to change these things, but inside us, we are still carrying these heavy patterns. We want to collaborate on the outside, but inside we are competing. We want to create trust on the outside, but inside we carry so much fear. So there were these contradictions that were quite a lot. They were a lot for me to take. Even in the educational setup, we were always competing, always, and it was suffocating. So part of me was starting to ask questions like, who am I, and why am I here on earth? Is this my life? Like, just go into the corporate sector, earn so much money, and that's it. That's the meaning of life on earth? Just this competition, this trying to protect ourselves. So that led me to, you can say, spiritual on one hand, and as that was happening, I wanted to find something meaningful for myself on the outer, in my material life, and that led me to education. It was more like an inner calling that I have to become a teacher. And when I decided that I would become a teacher, I was pretty sure that I wouldn't go into mainstream education. So I started looking for alternatives. That's when I came across Waldorf and I came across integral education, and just blew my mind because I didn't know education like this existed. So creative, so beautiful, so much life, music, art. And I had a mainstream education. So it was just rote learning and tests, and there was nothing tactile in my education. So then I have this whole possibility open up. So that's how I went into alternative education and I deep dived into it. And the beauty of these educational systems for me was that they were not ignoring the spirit. They were all talking about how spirit has to be brought into matter. And that's what caught my attention, that how do I merge the two? How are these two being merged? And then I became a Waldorf teacher for a while. And as I was teaching, I still felt there's more, there's more to it. This is not it. We were doing a lot of stories. As a teacher, you have to tell so many stories. In grade one, you're doing fairy tales and you're doing saint stories and Norse myths and this and that. But for me, I was searching for stories that helps the child connect to themselves, to the spirit. And I was always searching for such stories, and I could find very little on the internet. Yes, we have our religious texts and we have, our epics, but there was still something more I wanted for our challenges, for the challenges I faced, for the questions that I was asking. And so I was carrying this deep wish that I want to write stories which just, they, so that the child can just drop the baggage that we as adults have to go later into life, and then process it, then go for sessions, seminars, therapies, this and that. What if there's something simpler? What if there's art? What if there's music? What if there's a story that can do that for them? So that wish was there in me very strongly. And a little bit after I got out of Waldorf is when I started to write stories myself. And the first story I wrote was Shanotra, the Golden Butterfly. And I think that was how the birth of the Golden Butterfly happened. So it was not very planned. It was quite organic. And after that, it's been around 5 years now where I've been writing stories, teaching children. I create my own songs, my own poems. And yes, that's a short journey about Golden Butterfly.
That's so beautiful to hear your journey from working in corporate and getting into education, Urvi. Urvi, can you share some incidents that, that made you decide, yes, I am going to write stories. Yes, I am going to sing songs. There could be a lot of things that you had traveled across, but there should be some, incidents that are very close to your heart. And if you could share those, it will be nice. So we get to know what made you take this decision, because coming from IIT Madras and working in big companies, it's not an easy to just quit the job and go towards the inner calling. There should be like the inner calling should have been either very strong or something like that, or there should have been some incident that pushed you towards that. If it is okay, can you share that?
I think in some way the calling had been there since I was a child. I was always asking questions like, why am I here? What is it? It's just that there was nothing around that could answer that. It was silenced. You don't ask such questions. That's what I understood. That you just what I saw is if I asked a question like this, just get back to work. These are stupid questions. You don't ask such questions unless and until maybe you're born in a family which has a very strong spiritual inclination, has asked such questions. But in the mainstream, in general life, people think of this as waste of time. So for me, what made me move, what made me want to become a teacher is I just couldn't take the corporate setup. I just couldn't take what the pain that I was witnessing around me, how people were drowning themselves in that pain. On one side you are working 12 hours, on the other side you're having health issues, and you're in pain somewhere. You're sad and you're covering it up with so many things, whether it's coffee or pills or. So I was seeing all this and it didn't seem right to me that how could we let the system take over us? How could let the system become bigger than me? We are complaining about the corporate, we are complaining about our educational systems, but we let it become like this. So it was a hard decision to switch because everyone around me is always, like, how can you switch? How can you become a teacher? The Indian setup is the Indian thought form is, you don't become a teacher after studying like this. You do anything but become a teacher. But for me, it was the call. It was clear I have to become a teacher. I had taken a break after my corporate. I'd gone down to Auroville and I had gone down specifically to find what I have to do next. It was as if something inside me is answering and saying, "You have to be a teacher, or you have to go into education." It was just like that. It was like I was listening to myself, and I just chose to listen to what was inside me, what was coming through me. I could have ignored it, but I think the voice was so strong that I couldn't. That's how I switched. And stories and music was a wish I carried. Music I discovered in Waldorf. I didn't sing before that. I'd never sung in my life. In my school days, I didn't know I could sing actually. So when I went into Waldorf as a teacher, grade one teacher, for the first time I sang. I used to sing with other teachers, and that's how I discovered I can sing. And the songs that started to come through me started very recently. Again, they were like the stories. They would just suddenly I would hear the melody, I would hear the words. So it was a surprise for me also that I'm creating these songs. So beautiful, Urvi. Your songs are beautiful. And what is the most beautiful I could see is that the way you listen to your inner calling, because it is very important for us to listen to our inner calling. With all the sounds around, we always listen to the sounds around. We just tell to our inner self, hey, just shut up. I'll take care of you later. I'll take care of you later. I'll just earn some more money, buy some house. I'll take care of you later. And we just, postpone listening to our inner calling. And it's so beautiful that you made the decision, even though it was like tough to handle the society. That's so wonderful, Urvi. And Urvi, my next question is, in all your songs and in your stories, I could see that you use simple words and the words that
can interpret a lot of meanings for children and for adults. And you told it just comes with the flow. So I would like to know whether you have read a lot of books before that were an inspiration, or how does it happen? Is it similar to the inner calling? It just comes from you.
Of course, I've read a lot. I've read a lot of children's stories, and I've sung a lot of songs. I've learned a lot of songs. But what comes through me is sometimes I would have gone through a similar process within me. I would have, if I've written a story about transmutation of anger, something inside me would have happened around it. And then the story would have come. So a lot of my stories have something to do with an inner process, and then they come out as a story. Something has been transmuted, shifted, transformed, something that I've discovered through my inner journey. Sometimes it happens when I'm teaching a child and the child will mirror something and show me something, and spontaneously I write a story around it. So there are various ways in which my stories come. Even my songs come like that. They come, I might have experienced something. I love, I love the realm of fairies and mermaids and these magical lands. So if I would have experienced something of it, something of this, what is called the irrational world, but for me, it's a very real world. So if I would have experienced something of it in my life, it just comes out as a song. It's like a gift, trying to bring this world into our earthly realm. So I don't think about it a lot. I try not to interfere as much as I can so that it can just flow through. And yes, something beautiful is given to our children.
That's so beautiful. I think it's not just to children, but also to the parents who are listening to it, because we have a lot of cries that are inside us that we tend not to address or just overlook it. Thank you so much for doing that, Urvi. And is Golden Butterfly, the name Golden Butterfly, chosen because of your story, Golden Butterfly, or it just happened?
I don't really remember what it was, but I just, at some point, I knew I'm going to name it Golden Butterfly. And the reason is it's what we can become. It's this possibility that we all carry within us to become that light. Spiritual texts talk about it. So many places we keep hearing about it, but to make it that reality, to make it real, that as a human being, what am I capable of? What is that magnificence I carry? And that golden, that the transmutation butterfly symbolizes that transformation from, getting out of the cocoon and flying. Our journey of life on earth is like that. I feel we are in the process of becoming that golden butterfly. So yes, it's as much for an adult as it's for a child, because we are all in some way searching to let that light of us shine. And that's why the name and everything I do around it, it's to bring, to let that thing come out, let that light come out.
That's so wonderful to hear from you, Urvi. So my next question is, alternative education is something that is coming slowly in India. It is not as popular as it is in the West. And you have chosen again a very unique niche in alternative education, and you have chosen from different philosophies, and you have made your own project. So I would like to know, what are all the challenges you're facing in it, and how are you working towards it, and how is it being accepted in our society and also globally?
So it's a slow process to make yourself known, to make yourself visible, especially when you're doing something different. Yes, in India, it's quite hard because a lot of our cities, towns, villages, we are still quite in that framework where we are just, we want to focus on marks, a child to go into this stream, science, and become an engineer. You're still just there. So it's pretty hard, to. And then again, for me personally, I want to do something new. I want to create something new. So to fall back on old methods, like, doing, like, I'm told things like you have to do constant marketing. You have to put like 5 posts, a week. And I can't do that. It's not real. Like, to put things out there like that just for the sake of an image, for the sake of people accepting you. So I sort of sometimes I do have this dilemma inside me, that how do I make it work? Because should I try this? Should I? And then I take a few steps and I get back because it's not me. And it goes against everything that I want to do through Golden Butterfly. Like I want to create this. I want people to see the possibility that the new world has. And it's not in Instagram and Facebook posts and the images and the how flashy it is or how glamorous it is. I want people to be able to see the truth, recognize it, and accept it and bring it into their homes. So I struggle. I struggle quite a bit with trying to make it reach people, trying to make it visible. But I'm in a slow process, to try doing what is more aligned to me, asking myself always, what is it that I want to do next? How can I move forward? Then I do go forward sometimes, and then I feel like, oh, this is not my path, and come back, make a few mistakes, come back. But always asking myself that what is the next step? How should I go forward with it? So for me, asking myself, being true to myself in everything, whether it's the marketing bit or whether it's the writing bit or creating, that's what is the most important. And that's how I go through the challenges. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Urvi, because like today, it is very important that you're very flashy and you just tell to the world that I'm doing this and that. And if you don't do that, you don't get that acknowledgement. And sometimes it also, makes us feel low that am I doing it in the right way? But it's so beautiful that you have the clarity that you cannot be flashy and you would do with what you're sticking to. Thank you so much for sharing that. And coming to your books and the artwork in your songs, I could see that you have used a lot of young artists. So is there any specific reason for doing that?
Again, that also happened quite spontaneously. When I wrote my first book, Shunotra, The Golden Butterfly, I really wanted it to be an illustrated book. And I had these grand ideas. I'll get nice illustrators to illustrate it. I love children's books with these watercolor paintings. But somehow it wasn't working out. And I think it was a friend who said that, you have all these kids who come to you. You teach so many kids. And, why don't you ask a kid to illustrate it? And initially I thought, can I do that? Because I had my own reservation, these judgments that come in, right? A kid's work is not perfect. So I had these judgments come in, but something inside was again pushing that no, explore this. And I reached out to a parent of a child and I just said that, can we explore this as a project? Can she illustrate a book? And we were both not sure if this is possible because the child was 9 at that time. And to take up a project which is 6 months long, has so many illustrations, doing something repetitively for a child. So we never told her that this is going to become a book. We took it week at a time that, okay, if we succeed, we'll make it into a book. If we don't, it's okay. We'll never put pressure on her. So we didn't tell her it's a book. We just told her, do you want to do this? She said yes. And every week I would go to her, just tell her a part of the story, read a part of the story, and she would close her eyes and she would imagine the scene by herself and she would go back home and paint it. And I would just receive the scanned copy. And we did it for 6 months. And the book was born. It took a while, but personally, it broke a lot of my judgments as an adult. It helped me see the beauty of a child's work. Yeah, it just helped me appreciate what children can do. And that's what I wanted to bring forth when I created this book. I wanted to show to the world that our children can do this much. They have so much creativity within them. They don't have to be guided. They don't have to copy things. The way you and I would have learned, we would have copied every single thing on the board. We copied. I mean, even if our teacher would say, draw this, we would say, can you show this to us?
We were never allowed to draw something from our heart or from our soul. We were allowed only to draw what the teacher draws. Even the private drawing classes, it'll be like the teacher will show some image and you will have to just replicate it. That is how we were. Yeah.
your creativity is killed because someone's judging you constantly that this is right, this is wrong, this is beautiful, this is ugly. So you're shriveling inside and you don't even know. And that's happened to all of us adults. Like it's a process. Then we come into adult life. Some of us realize that this has happened to us, and then we spend years trying to undo that. So for me, to give that to a child, to give that space to a child and to allow that to blossom was something beautiful to witness for personally, and also to show this to the world that see, this is what our children can do.
That's so wonderful, Urvi, because I have had an experience of attending a lot of art classes and I'm trained Tanjavur paintings and I got trained in a lot of Indian art forms. But after moving to Denmark, I did close to 200 paintings and not even a single one was a traditional painting and it was all abstract because I wanted to use the color what my soul says and I didn't want any instruction. And initially, people around me were like, why are you doing all these meaningless paintings? Do some, do paint some god and then you can sell and you can make money. See, there are some things that is meant not to make money. It is to satisfy your soul and it would come in a place and time where you have the complete freedom to do whatever you wanted to do. So it's the same with kids. If I, as an adult, could have so much of suffocation because of all the courses I had, and when I had freehand, it was only abstract. And even now, I'm just doing abstract, and I'm happy about it. And so much of suffocation we are putting to the children, and it's so beautiful that people like you are breaking the stereotypic classes where kids are given an instruction to do something and they just follow it. Yes, it is important for them to know the guidelines and how to draw and all those things. But I think when they start exploring, they'll get it naturally and we don't have to give them every pencil dot marks. Thank you so much for sharing it so beautifully. And I would like to know if you could show some of your works, which would be really wonderful.
I can show you my the book, Shalotra the Golden Butterfly. So this is the book. It's been it's a soft cover, and all the paintings, they are all watercolor paintings. I would just I would just narrate, parts of the story to her, and then she would come up with it. And some of them were quite big paintings. And then I got it designed and made into this really, really pretty book. So it was a lot of work, as you can see, by the child. And of course, the parents also, I must thank them because the environment that parents create for their children, it's really important. They would, they would create that space for her where she could do this. So this was one of the books that we created. And there's another one that has been illustrated by a 12-year-old child. And that's available on my website, www.goldenbutterfly.org, but it's available only as an ebook. It's called Arya, the Faithful Friend. Yes, so that is, so if you have to hear my stories and listen to my songs, the YouTube channel is there, which is filled with songs, and the stories are all available on my website. So I make my music and my poems available freely because for me, that this conversation around money is very important. I feel that money is something that stops a lot of things, that stops you from doing a lot of things. And I don't want that to be a barrier for our children. They shouldn't lack access to something because of money. So that's why I want to make things available as much as I can without money being a constraint. So my stories have a very small cost and they are on the website, and so that they can sustain the other part of the work. And my poems and music, it's all free on YouTube.
Thank you so much, Urvi, for showing your book. And it's so lovely to see the illustrations of the little one. My next question is, I know you are working with a lot of children, giving them art courses. So I would like to know how different are your art courses from the normal conservative course?
So I wouldn't call it a course. It's these children who have been coming to me. I usually work with them over a long period. So they are children who would like to work spontaneously and freely. So they are children who don't want a structure. So if there's a child who wants a lot of structure, then maybe I'm not a good fit for the child. But for a child who wants a lot of freedom and who wants to explore their creativity, usually the child and I are a good fit. I do a lot of storytelling in my classes. I do a lot of music in my classes. And then I allow them to come up with ideas on how they would like to illustrate it, how they would like to go ahead with it. And usually a lot of ideas come from them. I'm just creating that space for them where they can express themselves. So it's very little guided work. Maybe when I initially started out, I would do a lot of guided work, but now it's a lot of spontaneity. Children, how this book was made, the one that I showed you, where the child is just painting by themselves. So they do a lot of work like that, where I am just a creator of that space. I'm just sort of, drop like dropping something in, facilitating something. I am not teaching them. Like I'm not telling them you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to. And I see value in that also. Yes, you have to learn oil painting. You have to know the process of oil painting. But when they come to me, this is what I give to them. I'm creating a space where their creative spark can come forth. That is my unique job. Yes, it is not to discard anyone's, any other method of teaching, but this is my method.
It's so wonderful, Urvi, because I think when we have the freedom to explore something, then we can understand whether our soul is connecting with it. And when we find the soul connection, then we can just go with the foundations and, we can level up higher with art or whatsoever form we want to learn. So it's so wonderful that you're giving this beautiful space for the children to, bring it from within.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is correct. Like I'm just creating that space where that spark comes forth, and then the skills. Yes, there can be other classes where they are deep diving into the skills. How do I, how do I do this? How do I, do charcoal painting or something very specific? But mine is more of that creating that free space.
So, what are the next plans of Golden Butterfly? Are we expecting a lot more books or?
There are a lot of stories that I haven't put out. I need to put out all those stories of, that I've written. So there are lots of stories in the pipeline. There are lots of songs that I haven't, I want to create videos out of artwork. And I also want to move into creating a lot more workbooks, which children, parents and teachers can use. I also want to create workbooks which children can use independently. But again, the kind of material that would help them go inward. So we don't have material like that. We have academic material which helps you learn things. Like I learn counting, I learn alphabet, I learn spellings. You have worksheets on that. But then do we have worksheets or workbooks or books, which are helping you move inward, helping you birth that creativity? So it's like I want to create this curriculum, but a very different kind of curriculum, which is on finding who you are and finding your truth. I don't know if it's done before, but that's what I want to do.
Thank you so much for sharing about your future plans, Uri. I think it's a great idea to have worksheets that are not in relationship with the academics, because whenever we talk about these worksheets and workbooks, we concentrate with it that are parallel to academics, like extra math lessons, extra physics lessons, and all those things. It's so beautiful that you're working on something that will touch the soul of the child and help the inner child. Thank you so much for doing that wonderful job. And I'm looking forward to have your worksheets for my own children and for the community.
Actually, there is something that I've just put out like an hour back, which is I will share it with you, and I'm planning to make it available freely. It's called A Journey with Water, where children will can move through that whole worksheet, and there are movement exercises and painting exercise, singing poems. They're connecting with the waters, the element water. So it's now I've just put it up on the website, and anyone can download it.
I'll check that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Obi, I think now we are coming to the close of our podcast, and I would like to know if you would like to share something to our audience.
The only thing is that if my work is about helping the child connect to themselves. And if a parent is drawn to that idea, then I would invite them to explore my work, which is available on my website, on my YouTube channel. It's all under the name of Golden Butterfly. So yes, it's good to have such resources if you're drawn to my words and what I'm doing.
Thank you so much, Urvi, for your time, and all the very best for your golden butterfly, because we need a lot of golden butterflies like this for the younger generations, because I don't think this mechanical life would take us or lead us anywhere. But what we have to do is like to understand our own purpose and listen to what we do. And facilitators like you who are working with young children, if the facilitation is available for all the children at the earliest age possible, I think it would be a great blessing to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast and for taking time to, be with my work, exploring it, even doing it with your child. I think you were singing a song with a child, so it means a lot. Thank you.